All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Community Advisory Board CAB for the 8109 Public Realignment General Body Meeting. Today's date is, what is today? March the 13th,
Okay.
2025, and we will call this meeting to order. We're gonna first start off. I always like to go over who we are and our purpose for anyone that is new on the meeting today. We are the Community Advisory Board CAB on the Public Safety Realignment, which was established by the Community Correction Partnership, CCP, Executive Committee to provide input on community needs. And our purpose is to provide input and feedback into the county on the 8109 realignment implementation. So now that we have covered who we are and we went over a little bit of what our purpose is, let's review some quick housekeeping items for those in the room and those that are on Zoom, and that's in the public. So for those that are on Zoom in the public, please keep your participation on mute. For those on Zoom, please use *6 to mute and unmute. The structure of the meeting is we hear from the members first. Those that are in the room that are in the public, then those are on Zoom, and you can raise your hand if you would like to speak on Zoom. We are now going to move into our agenda item for today. So our first item on the agenda is roll call and introductions. I will go ahead and start. My name is Nicole Green. I am the chair of the Community Advisory Board, and I cover for East County. I will go to my left.
I'm Brenda Lee, and I'm from West County.
Good morning, my name is Tiffany and I'm representing East County.
Morning, Gloria Belguero Pastrana. I am representing Central.
Good morning, Yolanda Hughes, and I am representing West. Tracy Simpson, Central County.
Hey, Hurley, West County. Thank you, and we will now move to staff.
Hi, good morning, Garyana Youngblood, Office of Reentry and Justice.
Jill Ray, the Office of Supervisor Kenneth Anderson.
Thank you. And do we have any staff on Zoom, Ariana? No. Would the staff on Zoom like to introduce themselves? Claire.
Hi, my name is Claire Laura, and I'm a district representative for the Office of Supervisor Burgess, District 3.
Welcome. Who's it? If you're unable to, we can come back around, but welcome. And any guests on Zoom might introduce themselves. Brianna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bree. I currently work at the Reentry Success Center and live out in East County.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We have no others in the room, so we will move right along. Our next item on the agenda is a public comment on any items under the jurisdiction of the committee and not on the agenda. I have a public comment. I just joined the Continuum of Care Providers meeting. They have it every, is the second? Thursday of the month. I didn't make enough copies because I was running out, but if you would like some, you can take pictures. There are some upcoming trainings like community awareness, immigration resources. There's going to be some training in reference to CORE. Bayer Legal did a presentation today. There's some information in regards to a homeless court that's on there. So I will leave them like on the table. My apologies. I was hoping to make a stack of copies to pass out. But if you're interested in some of the trainings that they have available, I'll leave the stack back here for you to make copies of them. I also printed out the information for the Council of Homeless meetings, which we'll talk about more when we get to the updates on that part, but I also printed out their upcoming meeting schedule if any of you guys want to attend that. So I just wanted to share some of the trainings and information that is being done through the county from the Continuum Care of H3, so you all are aware. My other update is in reference to the California Housing Association that I did for the panel. It was amazing. We were the only group that talked about the justice involved. They were very intrigued about Contra Costa County. Everybody was actually impressed by all the work that our county has done. Overall, H3 was there as well. We were not there together, but they were also doing a presentation on their collaboration with Hope Solutions and their new project that they're working on. I can't remember the name of the hotel at this particular time, but they have collaborated with them to provide housing for those that are coming from shelter that are ready for permanent housing. So that interim housing piece. So it was great to see all the people in the room that wanted to hear about the laws, 8109, learned about Measure J, more to come on that, but they definitely were intrigued about what we do here and was able to find a few contacts, and hopefully they will follow up because they want to know more about what CAB is doing, as well as like our summit and retreats that we do. So those are my public comments. Anybody else?
I'd like to share that I am now, well, I guess soon, I'll start the training, I think next week, by the end of this month for the NRP panel or NRP. And it's good because they were actually looking for someone from CAB to join the panel, so I'll be on that panel.
Would you be able to like bring up dates and things like that? I like the process, or I know you can't talk about client information, but anything that would be beneficial for us to learn about. Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you for doing that. Any other public comment? No? Okay, moving right along. Our next agenda item for today, number 3, is considering approval the record of action from the February 13th CAB general meeting. So I'll just take a second for us to kind of review that agenda. Open up for any discussion. If there are no discussion items, then I'll be looking for a motion and a second motion.
To accept the minutes as presented. Okay.
Can I have a second?
I'm sorry.
So we have Tracy as a first and second, Gloria as a second. Ariana, can you do the vote?
Yeah, Nicole,
Aye.
Brenda,
Aye.
Raina Hurley,
Aye.
Vincent,
Aye.
Tiffany Anaya,
Aye.
Wanda Hughes,
Aye.
Laura Bell,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, thank you. All right, so moving on to the fun stuff. So agenda item number 4, we have a new applicant. So we are here to review and approve the application for Brianna. She did report to OCEC, and OCEC was able to do an interview of her. I would first like to at least open up for us to see if anyone from OCEC have any feedback that they would want to share, allow for CAB members to kind of look over her information if you have not done so, and then we can see if Brianna has anything that she would like to share with us that we can ask her questions. We only have one OCEC here, so would you like to share?
Her interview went well. She briefly spoke about her education as well as her current responsibilities that tie into what CAB is about. She also very passionately wrote about the fact that she's grown up in Contra Costa County and her dedication to working in this area. This is from memory too. I haven't I just remembered. So I was impressed with that, and I think she would make a wonderful addition, is my opinion.
Any other, Brianna, would you like to take a moment do you have anything that you would like to share with CAB that the full board?
First, thank you, Laura Bell, for such the kind revision of my application. So yeah, I am a lifelong Contra Costa County resident, born and raised. And I'm very passionate about giving back to the community that gave me so much. And it has allowed me to excel in my education and my professional work as well. When I think about like re-entry, I think about stabilization and preventing the revolving door that is the criminal justice system. So I really want to be part of the solutions and problem solving process to ensure we have the resources necessary to prevent individuals from reoffending.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and go around the table to see, If any members have any question they want to ask Ariana, any feedback, I'll start. I didn't really have any questions for Bree. I am familiar with working with her at work, outside work. Had the pleasure to be able, before she even applied, to understand like her backstory before even her employment part of it, and really impressed by just her work and her goals and her vision and what she wants to do to be able to help this population. I think that she'll bring some great insight to CAB as well. An application kind of covered everything, so I didn't have any particular questions. So I also agreed to move forward with her. That's my vote, and I would love to be able to go around and get all of your insight and feedback. Let's start from the left or the right. Going to the right. Oh,
It looks like she's a great candidate, you know, from what I'm reading here. Yeah, it looks like she's a great candidate, and I look forward to working with her.
I echo the same sentiments, just reviewing your application. I like the experience, both educational and work experience, and your passion to work with this population. So I'm excited about having you join.
Hi, Brianna.
Luana.
I mean, I got to know a little bit more about you, and your application. I love the fact that the education you have, I didn't know. I work with, Bree, with the Reentry Success Center, because we have some of the same partners, and I love how she has a passion that I see working with the reentry population. She organizes the Alpha Cohort Program, and I got to see some of her work during the graduation process, during the workshop process. So I'm delighted to have you join us, so thanks.
Again? I still, because I do have a question now, so I'm gonna steal your question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. With your unique background and your expertise that you bring, because I feel like majority of us are very familiar with who you are. What do you think that you would actually bring to the CAB, just based on your personal work and your current employment, that can help us in the work that we're doing?
I think identifying additional resources that we can all use in our line of work, as well as anything related to like budget and policies, finding additional funding for our partners and providers, and just working with the team.
I hear a policy and budget.
Yep.
applicant. I see where her.
I heard it too.
So I also know Bree, of course, we do work together at the Reentry Success Center. And I have also reviewed her application, which, while it's very well written, I see that Bree is very modest, as I know she is. Bree actually is someone that I go to very regularly. She's very innovative, very resourceful, very great research, very great lead on projects. And I think she would make a great addition to the board, just based off not only her education and her work ethic, her passion for the community. I see how, you know, if we're not able to do something out of our office, she will find it, and she will find a way to get a community member taken care of. As well as the project, she sees them all the way through. You know, you won't have to look for Bree of where you at with this, or Bree is on top of stuff and not a procrastinator. So I would really love to see her on the board, and just the ideas, and if policy and budget it is, you know, definitely the person for that, because I kind of steered away. I'm like, oh, let me stick to what I know. So it would definitely be a yes for me.
I'm Brenda. I'm very impressed with your education and how you took your education and you used it to better your community, and I'm very impressed. I'm also a West Contra Costa County lifelong person, so I can relate to that, and I'm very impressed with, when I read it, I said, let me read this again. You know, I was really impressed, and so I would love to have you on board.
So it sounds like we're all in agreement. I do want to go over some of the committee standards. I'm pretty sure that you probably read it, just making sure that we reiterate that it's a whole committee. That we do have our full committee meeting once a month. And then we have our subcommittees, the policy and budget programs and services, as well as OCEC. And then you would, you know, if moved forward, you would then pick one of those committees that you're interested in, is making sure that you understand the time that is required to be part of CAP. See if you have any questions around any of that or any of the obligations or the information that you may have read. Is there any questions for us as a committee? And it's the last part to add, the next step is we will discuss, you and decide if we want to approve it here, and then you will move on to the CCP will be the next part for that approval part as well. So are there any questions that you may have for us as a board about CAB at all?
Not at this time.
So let's go ahead and do a vote. I will pass it over to Ms. Garriott.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any recusals? Motion carries.
Congratulations. Sorry,
Thank you.
sorry, I skipped that. Can I get I will need a motion and a second, for someone to move, Bree up, I can't see, now I got tongue twisted. I will need a motion, a first and a second to move Bree along, to be a part of the community advisory board.
Make the motion.
I
So
second
Gloria,
it.
okay, so Gloria is the first and Yolanda is the second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Any recusals? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
thank you. See, I was just ready to move along, Bree, sorry.
Any members online, you can do roll, you don't have to do roll call.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So you will be hearing from Garyana next in reference to the CCP meeting date. You're not required to be in person, but I definitely recommend if you can, that's great, or be on Zoom. And I'll be there to do a great summary of who you are. So congratulations and moving to the next step.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, everybody. So the next item on our agenda is the update for our CAB Google Drive. So that was one of our items from our last meeting. I wanted to give a few updates on that as well. So I know that Garyana has sent out a few emails, and I'm just going to sound like a repeating recorded record until everyone starts to look. Please try to find time before our meetings to look inside Drive, see what's available, get acquainted what's in there, because no one's in there. So each committee, you guys have certain assignments, the things that you're working on. So one of the things that I've been tasked with in RJ is to update that site for you, but we don't know what to update if nobody tells us. So in the meantime, Gary, RJ, and Gary, they have been adding things into the Drive based on what you have been requesting at your subcommittee meeting. I've also created a calendar in there as requested where I'll be adding like the vascular meetings or any type of tabling that we're doing so that we have a run-on calendar. It's also in there as well. For that part, I will need communication from folks, to be sent over to Garyana about those things. And when we get to that piece for the ambassador, I'll try to keep it updated every month. And share that responsibility with RJ, but that calendar has been created. Your subcommittee folders are there. Your work plan folders are there. We have uploaded as much as we possibly can think that we can. So what I'm asking is if you all can please take the time to kind of look in there and get familiar with it. And let us know if something's missing, but make it part of your process. You have your regular board meeting, you have your subcommittee meeting. You don't have to do it every week, but maybe before you come to that next monthly meeting, if there's something in there that you need to do, especially for your subcommittee meeting, please take that time to log in there. What I've heard so far from majority of the subcommittee meetings is that we're moving towards more of, since we have so many different tasks to do, live documents, right? So a lot of you in your subcommittee meetings, you're working on something that you need to bring, either have it done before your next meeting. I know that policy and budget is doing it, not policy, programs and services is doing it, OCEC is doing it. I'm not sure if Justin's doing it yet. I know he used a different process at your guys' meeting. But just there's ways that we can communicate. You guys can't talk amongst each other because of quorum. So utilize that folder, ensure that there's tasks that you are supposed to do that you've been assigned to. Please make sure, please, with cherry on top, to get in there and get it done before the deadline, because we're going to fall behind if we don't. I will continue to check in with you all every month. So if you need, and Guriana and RJ, they do that as well. So if you need help with anything, we're throwing our stuff out there to you. So I just wanted to remind everybody. So what I'm asking is at least by your next subcommittee meeting, because I'm going to try to be there, is to please look at your folders. I know, like I said, I just mentioned some of the subcommittees, you guys have tasks that you were to do before that meeting. When I looked in there, no one logged in as of date. So that is just a gentle nudge to please make that part of your thought process going forward is you to look into that shared drive, in that Google Drive. Gariana, anything that you want to add in reference to the drive?
Yeah, I did receive a few emails about not having access to certain things, so if you aren't able to like access the drive or access certain documents, just send me a quick email and I'll update, the status. You'll be able to access it. And if there's things in there that's not in there that you would like to see that would help aid your work, then please let us know and we can help, hopefully draft.
Yes. And add Gariana as a favorite, pin her in your email. That's what I do. She pops to the top of my email. Yeah, she has a folder and then I pin her and she pops up and then it sends me a ping and it says Gariana.
And just a note about Google Drive, because I do this all the time. You have to use the same email. You're given access with an email address.
Mhm.
So if you have alternate email addresses, you need to make sure you're going in with the right one or you're carrying on with it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Me, she has all three of mine. And, so, depending on where I am that day, I can log in. So seriously. So any questions from, I mean, I looked in there, it wasn't yesterday, it was yesterday. Has anyone happened? I know, Tiffany, I know you did, you off for the chopping board right now.
Log in for enough, thank you.
Has anybody else
That's
happened?
good,
to have a
and
chance
having
to
it
look in it?
organized.
I did. I looked in there.
Good job.
Yeah.
You've been here long enough. I know you would.
Well, I can log in right now
So
successfully.
you look, good job.
But prior to that, Garyana did share our documents with us via email.
Okay.
She pulled them from the drive and shared them with us, and we did have some very lengthy documents that
Yes.
we did.
Yes, we did.
So.
Okay. And I mean, and again, what's going to be useful with the Google Drive is when you get to that point where you have tasks that you need to get done. And it's hard to complete those when we can't talk to each other. So one of the things that really helped us in policy and budget was that Google Drive, because RJ can monitor it and we can make sure that in that live document, we were getting stuff done and communicate in that manner. So it was extremely helpful. So just want to urge everybody. Okay. And I do want your feedback on the calendar. It's just a standard calendar. So far, what I've done is I've added our regular meetings that I am aware of on there. I've also plugged in like the PPC meeting or the CCP meeting. Just what do you want on those calendars outside of like the ambassador or events that are important? If there's an event that, even though we're not tabling, but maybe we want members to know about, of course, Garyana can send a flyer out. We can also pin it there. Employer stuff? Yes, as long as you send it to us, then I can get it. I got it.
I have a bunch.
Okay, my goal is to do it monthly because so as long as I have the information, I can. Garyana sends out the flyers, but I can go on the calendar and add it. But I want to make sure that if we're gonna have this calendar, it's gonna be used because that's time that I gotta go on there and add it on there. So if people don't find it useful, please let me know, then I'll stop doing it.
Will it be a Google Calendar? or
It's
not?
on there. So I put a folder and I put calendar on there.
Oh, okay, so not like a live calendar, but a document.
It's a live calendar.
Oh, okay.
You can actually type in it yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh, and add things.
yes, hint.
I see. Mhm.
So would we be able to just add
Yes.
it to our own Google? Like,
No, so when she gives you access to share drive, you will have access to that. They should have access to that folder, right? And you can actually add it on the calendar too. You can help me out and plug it on there. I'm trying to work smarter, not harder.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any questions before we move forward? Nope. Okay. So moving along, our next agenda item is our ambassador program. If we could please pull up the ambassador program meeting assignment. Demetria couldn't be here today. We do have Gloria Bell, so I'm gonna tag team it with her. Can we make it bigger? So there's gonna be, OCEC had an amazing meeting. They're gonna be working on some of the ambassador stuff and streamlining some things. I'll let Gloria Bell talk about it if she likes. But one of the things that we did do, or they did, not me, was work on doing some assignments for the upcoming ambassador meeting. So we wanted to talk about those assignments today, kind of get your feedback on where you are assigned, see if you're okay with your assignment. That way they can take it back to their next meeting. But before we jump into this, I wanted to see if you wanted to share anything about the work that you all are doing in reference to this section.
The first thing that comes to mind is that there was some movement. We decided to do the Board of Supervisors first and schedule those meetings first before reaching out to the is it considered providers, or what would be the term for the rest? Select community corrections partnerships, the partnerships,
Yes.
right? So please locate your name and make sure that you are listed, that you are adhering to scheduling your appointments, I guess was what we were gonna ask, right?
Well, first we want to look at your assignments, kind of go through that. Who's first, who's second, who's third, see if you have any questions, because there's going to be more information from you all coming after this. So it's more around the assignments.
Yes, and then we were also gonna streamline the
The
questions, a template, set a schedule up
Mhm.
and do all those things, which should be happening in our next meeting, I
Correct.
believe. And the.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, and in reference to scheduling, meaning, once you all figure out your dates and your times, it'll be added to the calendar so that everybody can see what date you're doing what. So hopefully at our next CAB meeting, you'll get more information. They're working on some great things, questions for you all to ask. Kind of fine tuning the documents so a little bit more clear when you're doing your meetings. They're still going to move forward with the recommendation that we all came up with CAB. We're hopefully reaching out to more of our our district leaders earlier on, and then our county partners kind of later on down the line. We are still going to follow that. So let's go ahead and look at the assignment for the year. Go ahead and find your name and kind of see where you're first, second, or third. And if you are first, and it's your first time being first, do you have any questions? How are you feeling?
What's that?
I think you should.
That's like a challenge.
At first, I'm like, why am I first and forward, then I don't have nothing else? I'm like, okay, I can handle that. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm here. And I'm like, but I have nothing else, so I'm good now, okay, cool.
Ready this time. I wanted to meet with
First,
the-
why is it- Oh, yeah, with him, oh, he's cool, I mean, you know.
Did that on purpose.
Okay.
I am motivating all of you because I believe in what you can do here.
One, I don't know, question, concern, something I like to clarify.
Yes.
I see that I am listed for Supervisors Anderson and Burgess.
Mhm.
Is there any way that I can
Move around.
go on Carlson's? Because that's my actual district. I would like to kind of.
Okay.
If possible, I see.
Well, no,
some
that's not
have
perfect for
third.
today. So do you want to are you okay being a second, or you want to jump in and try to be a first somewhere?
It doesn't matter, or even a third. I see that 1 and 5, districts 1 and 5 have 3. The other ones have 2. I'm
You
not
want to
sure.
take on an extra one? Okay, that's
I
fine.
feel like it's just saying.
So you want to switch from where?
To switch,
You
but
wanna
I would
keep
like I would like to get added to Carlson's district.
Okay, so we can add it to
Add it
Carlson
to
as a third. Who's on there? That could have been a reason. It's Justin.
Yeah.
That was why.
Oh.
So that was why. So you can't be on a
Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
call with your committee members. I had to think about why you weren't there. Unless where else do we put Justin?
Can we swap her and Justin out for Burgess? Just. a straight
She wants to
swap?
keep Burgess.
Well, I don't have to.
Okay.
I just want to get on Carlson.
So let's make Justin first for Burgess and make her first for Carlson. Did you get that, Gariana?
Yeah, so just make Justin first for Burgess.
Yep.
and Tracy first for Carlson.
Is there any
That was
other?
gonna
Alexandria,
That
what
was-
about Alexandria? 'Cause you
that
got
was,
first.
Alexander the second, correct?
She's
Yeah.
already second.
She's already second.
So she's first
Oh,
on,
no, I'm sorry, Tracy.
you guys got a first for Anderson and Burgess.
Yeah,
You can't be on the call.
Wait. Make her second for Bergiston.
Second. for
Wait a minute, wait, I'm sorry. So we had Alexandria, we had Alexandria. Well, you can keep her first, keep her as is. I'm sorry, I didn't notice that. And I guess make Justin third, is it?
No, so it would just be swapping it out. So Tracy would become first for Carlson, and then Justin would become second for Burgess. Just be swapping.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I did it. I wrote it down wrong. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm sorry, you was asking a question.
Yes, you said you can't be on a call with one of your committee members?
Yeah. Are you on one with
All
George?
of them
Yeah.
except programs and
Ian Reed.
services, because it's 3 for a quorum in that subcommittee. So
They have
two of
full
them.
committee.
Okay.
But she's good. Okay.
So you're fine, okay.
Yeah, so programs and services, you guys, two of you guys can meet.
It's based on the size of the committee.
Because we're moving.
Oh, okay.
So because you're,
Yeah.
you got big.
In a quorum.
I'm learning as you are.
Okay.
Probably
So it's
never
you,
be able
it's
to
you and
meet.
Justin.
That's where I'm
And then you, me, you,
I learned
and Wanda.
today, I didn't even think of
And
this.
then Brenda.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
No, I'm lost myself. H3, behavioral health. Anybody else? So we can go down for, I have CAO office support and behavioral health as first. Brenda, your EHSD, LEA, and Sheriff, and Joya. And H3, second behavioral health, public defender. Glory, court, attorneys, probation, Joya. Justin, H3. And Burgess, right? Yes. These lines, I started getting cross-eyed. More, court, EHSD, public defender. Alexandria, Sheriff's Office, Anderson. No, that's Tracy. Oh, I skipped over Tracy, sorry. Tracy was District Attorney, Anderson, Carlson, right?
Right.
Demetria is LEA, Carlson. Tiffany, Sheriff's Office, Georgia, yes, Preston. And Wanda is CAO Office, Neighbor Health, Probation. Jill, do you know if there's another contact for the CAO office? I've been given two and I can't seem to get through. That's the only one. Nope, never mind. I'm thinking of court. I'm thinking of court. Never mind. Yeah. She's like, CAO, no, court, sorry, it was court. I do have them again, this one. That one was a hard one to get hold. Okay. If everybody is okay, and the only change is for Tracy. Wow, everyone's good to go with what they have. You want to take on more? Do you want to? I like that smile you got over there.
Get my assignments done before I take.
I mean, and hopefully this year to feel a little bit better because again, you probably feel like a little strained or concerned because again, remember last year you all came at the tail end, so we were rushing. I promise you, it doesn't feel like that. If we start on time and we get these done, it will be a little bit more smoother. And when they're reprocessing the questions and make it a little bit more friendly, I think you'll find it more fun. You can also do them in Zoom, you can do them in person. So I promise you won't feel as like the time crunch. How do I get this done? So I'm excited to see what OCEC brings back in reference to their changes, but I think you all. Do you remember the timeline?
It should be in the notes.
And we said
Wait a minute.
spring, right, like March.
Oh, yeah, your,
Prior.
you mean by the whole year?
Just for the one, like, goal to meet the entire.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Then you want to get those.
yes. So,
Some supervisors are harder to get.
so the goal was after we confirm everyone's today, Then we bring this back to the OCE meeting, committee meeting for March, and then tell everybody their assignments, and they get to start reaching out to board supervisors. Okay, okay. Just making note of that.
I believe, oh yeah, that's why we said we would meet with them in spring and then again before
Mhm.
the October, or November, like recommendations for the second time.
Right. And so the spring is more of, it's not about our recommendations, just to kind of have that conversation with them about what we, what we've done, and kind of get their feedback on what they're seeing in their districts, what they may want us to work on, or things that they may see, and kind of see where their goals are aligned. So it's not really the recommendations, because we don't have them yet. It's more of start that kind of conversation and get their perspective, so that while we're working on our surveys and identifying our gaps, or whatever the case may be, to come up with our recommendations for the end of the year. We also tie in and say that we've spoke to them, we've got their feedback, we've shared our ideas. So trying out our new process this year and see how that goes. Okay, yes, Anne.
This is a, good year is really challenging for hard. In a lot of ways. And I think these budget things, are going to be important conversations,
Okay.
depending on what happens at the federal level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I think, super important for every group who has needs to make sure that those needs are present in the forefront of the supervisor's minds as they go into budget hearings. Because there is a lot of asks to the bar. And as you and I both know, Nicole, sometimes the
Yeah.
idea gets
Push to the end
so
of
it's
it.
just important that you all have it, you all do have a strong voice, that you use it. I think in the class that has.
I would definitely urge all members, if there's any, thank you for bringing that up, if there's any key factors or points or questions that you have involving our population that you think that we should ask during the meetings, if you can all send them to Garyana, that way we can have them for OCEC before their next meeting. Especially and thank you for highlighting that, especially with what's going on right now in our world. If there's anything that comes up, or maybe you notice in your own programs that you think that we should be asking to the board supervisors, I think we should have that ready for OCEC when this meeting comes up. Because once we get this passed at our next meeting, we have to start moving. So whatever board, the supervisors that we're assigned to, we're going to have to start reaching out ASAP to get a time and date scheduled with them. So I think when we go back, we can bring that back to Demetria about looking like some of the things you guys may experience at the office, like what other questions we want to ask them when it ties into the AB 109 funding. So those are some of those questions.
Because there's been a lot of laws passed.
Yes. Okay. Part of our questions, I didn't think to add that in there. Thank you for adding that. Okay. Any other feedback or questions before we move along? Anything else you want to add in reference to the ambassador work before we move on? That's what I worked on.
I think we pretty much covered it, the streamlining of the questions and packet, we're gonna work on that.
Okay. Okay, so moving along to agenda item number 7 in reference to the community program service grid. We're not able to log into the shared drive on here, huh? In the meeting room.
What?
To pull up the grid, or do you already have it in?
In the packet.
No, the most current, because me and Tiffany went into it
Oh,
to add, I know,
yeah, I don't have this is the, because I posted it and,
I know we were, yeah. So this is the original grid that we provided you all, as mentioned at our last meeting, in reference to our AB 109, summit, in reference to what Santa Clara County was asking. There's an additional section that Tiffany and I added, that outlines our community programs. And so what programs and services was charged with was the committee members were to actually go in and add any community programs that they are aware of that they would like to actually share I haven't had a chance to look at it before this particular meeting. Tiffany, did you get a chance to look at it? I know that we added some yesterday.
I had it, I had realized after we met, I had just had more questions and since this is the purpose of like sharing warm handoff with the right contacts for individuals, I was just curious, like the current referral process or way to access these county entities sometimes is through 800 numbers.
Right.
So, I'm wondering if it's okay to like, provide a coordinator or manager on the back end, or if we are just looking to provide this process that everyone needs to use.
So my goal was just to give them the standard 1-800 number and not give out managers and coordinators. Once they have their date signed, we'll share out. Like I told them, I can share information in reference to our AB 109 providers, but in reference to our other outside community programs that are touching this population, we can invite them to the summit and they can meet them in that manner. So it'll just be the regular, for example, if it's behavioral health, actually you call this 800 number, or for continuum care, do this email from that standpoint, because we don't have the capacity to reach out to all of our partners and the time frame to get the okay from them to give out their name and number. So I don't feel comfortable releasing certain information without, speaking to people. So
Right. And maybe not like managers or coordinators, but for example, I think like core and the reentry team is a great example. Like,
right.
do we want justice impacted individuals who need to use this resource to go through 211, or should we be providing them the direct line to the reentry core intake coordinator? Like
211.
that's what yeah, okay.
211, and then the option for the reentry.
That streamlines it.
Yeah,
Makes it easier.
uh-huh.
Okay.
No, so we're working smart. We're not going to, because what's the ask is too big for us as a committee, and too big for RJ. So, we are providing what we have in reference to our funded providers. Any additional county information will be just the standard county information that we have, and then we'll share with county partners, and they are more than welcome to participate, and come to the event, to be able to meet with individuals if they like. But the ask is big. We will be spending hours on creating that, that particular document. So if program and services members have not had the opportunity to actually go in and look, if you could please log in before this week and to add any information that you have, because the goal was for me to get that out at the beginning of March. I do also want to pin as title to this. They have moved the date again. So the date has now been moved to May 14th. We cannot all go, but if people can please look and confirm if that date actually works for CAB members. Remember, we can't, so someone can, we make sure we have someone from policy and budget, OCEC, programs and services, but so now it's May 14th, 2025. No? You don't know yet? Okay. Did you reply to that already?
Yeah, I did reply to it. I just didn't see the.
Yeah, it's just May 14th.
Mhm. Okay, I'll check my calendar. It's not.
For when, to when?
May 14th, so it's May, let me put up the time. I will be there.
I'm available.
Okay, so it's May 14th. Right now it's from 10 to 1.
Alright.
Yep. So I will,
Yeah.
look in the share drive, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'll look in the share drive on Monday to see if there's anything there and just kind of print out. But just, the basic information, our team of care, our 211, behavioral health, if there's any kind of provider that you may know of that isn't our standard, just throw it on there. If not, I'm going to send them what we have. And then as we go to the summit, then from there we can build on, again, the AB 109 summit, the AB 109 summit, the goal for that really was more for us to learn about each other and what we're doing within each county and kind of share our work. But this year it kind of expanded to something a little bit different. So the biggest takeaway, like I told them, is once they have their flyer, that confirmation on that date, I would share with ORJ and they can do a blast to be able to send and share out to everyone.
For upcoming changes, like, are there any other programs that have been identified for family reunification or anything like that?
The RP just went out, so no.
Okay.
And I should have added that earlier when I did my public comment. I'll do it in this part. No, so the 8109 RFPs is out, so we won't know anything to July.
Until that's-
Yes, we're doing that part. But any questions in reference to what, like I said, we pretty much did oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Patrice. I see your hand.
Hi there. I couldn't hear the question about the RFPs, but if there's questions about it, I'm happy to just provide updates on our process and also what we have coming up next after this first slate of RFPs for the AB 109 programs to include those AB 109 pilots.
I would definitely love your update. But what Gloria was asking was there any update in reference to the family unification? And the provider that was going to be taking that on, and my response was the RFPs just went out, so. But I would love to hear an update.
Yeah, we'll know more. Actually, the deadline for submissions will be on this Friday. So we'll see who has put their hat in the ring for those.
Any other questions? Did that, was that the only question you had about the service grid?
Oh, yes, I could do. Yeah, I heard just, of course, my questions, my brain started thinking after we got off the call. And I was
That's
like,
okay.
oh, wait, does she want like, specific to reentry, or is it just general for someone to access that?
Well, I mean, it's for us, it's specific to reentry. And so they're thinking outside the box, meaning outside of our reentry partners, who else would this population touch? And so that would be, like we said, behavioral health. That would be H3, that would be core, things of that nature that they brought up. What?
I gave it to Gariana, but EHSD/safety.
Okay.
So, food,
Mhm.
health, and all the rest. And then I also told her it should be behavioral health.
Okay.
And it should say mental health or SUD services, because now it can be both.
And I mean, I even think the ones that we just brought up, I just wanted to open up to all of you, of something that I may not be thinking of. But our focus is really on our AB 109 partners and the individuals that we're working with. So adding the EHSD and core, things like that, those are individuals that we know, are programs that we know that the population touches. Whatever we come up with, that's what's going to be sent over. And from what I'm told, another meeting is pending. So when we join that meeting, we can see if there's anything in addition that they want to add, but I don't want us to put more time on something that we've already worked on. And it's like a really big ask for a county to do. So try to give what we have already and kind of build upon that. So I really want your feedback on that. I mean, if you guys want to do more, open for it, taking, suggestions and help. Because I won't be able to do this alone. But that's my suggestion, is submit what we had and add a little bit more to it, and that's about it. So any feedback on that?
Sounds like
We're
a
good to
great
go? Okay. I mean, like, if y'all want to be more, someone volunteer. All right. So our next item on here is our discuss reports for our CAP subcommittee and external meetings. So we can please bring those up. So I wasn't able to attend, I was out for the actual Council on Homeless meeting. So if I missed something, Jill, and you was there, bringing up, I did want to point out there, I was at the equity meeting and they're still working on the dashboard, which is going to be really great to connect to, providers to determine like any equity gaps. It's not going to focus more on the program to try to get data at the very beginning of building the infrastructure. But we had that meeting yesterday. There was an update on the RFPs, that I found out, excuse me, the RFPs, I bring that up because of course our ask was also included on that. So I'm very excited to, if you get a chance to join the next Board of Supervisors, there will be a update on who the individuals that were awarded on that. That process is finally coming to an end. And of course, we were included on that in reference to our 8109 one-time funding ask with H3 for housing through them. So from what I understand, that process has went through and they have identified individuals that are being recommended. I believe is it Family and Human Services that call on the 10th that they gave an update. I didn't get to join that because I was sick, but they did give an update on who those individuals that are going to be funded through that, and then it's going to the Board of Soup. So that is through that process, and I just wanted to give that update because again, we are part of that in reference to the 8109 Access Fund. So if you have time, listen on Zoom. March 25th. And I don't have any updates in reference to the Mental Health Commission. Is there any updates on that? The new commission?
So we actually got a lot of applications in our office for District 2 seat. And so Supervisor Anderson has 2 individuals. And I know the other offices, I don't know all of the other offices, but some of the other offices are also in process of doing their applications. I did speak with Suzanne Tabano earlier this week about the process. They're still working out the terms on the seats because they're supposed to be staggered. But there's three-year terms, so they're working that out, and they're creating a spreadsheet of all that. They got a lot of applications for every seat except for the veteran seat, and so they're working on a spreadsheet of who qualifies for what seat. Specific, 4 specific seats outside of the district seats. And so I did put Suzanne in contact with a veterans rep who has someone in mind for the veteran seat. So that's the big holdout. It will be going to the Family and Human Services Committee on, I want to say March or April 14th. That is the goal. No, wrong month. April 14th, yes. At 10:30, the recommendation, or the spreadsheet of all the applicants.
Okay.
Those supervisors who have recommended individuals, all that stuff for family services to discuss. See how they make a decision, then go to the board of supervisors to appoint individuals. And in my discussion with Suzanne Tabano, I suggested she just do it in one board order, the district seats and the other seats, just to make it easier for tracking records. Once she has the recommendations from all the supervisors, so that's where it stands right now.
Okay, and that's the 14th, just adding it on here. And before we move on to our committee updates, is there any other updates you or Patrice want to give for any other meetings?
There was nothing related on either of the board of supervisors agendas to this group. There was 2 meetings between the last cab and this cab. Public protection is being canceled this month because it was supposed to do familiar faces stepping up, and aid 3 was supposed to do a presentation, and unfortunately one of the individuals couldn't be part. So that's been deferred to May. And then next month will be the community block.
Patrice, any updates that you need to provide?
I'm not sure if Jill mentioned about CCP. Did you, Jill?
I did not.
Okay, so I'll just share, as you all may know, CCP is scheduled for this Monday at 1 p. Excuse me, next Monday. Wait, no, not even next Monday. Monday, March 24th. My apologies. March 24th at 1 o'clock from 1 to 2:30 in the same room that you all are in now. So you should expect an agenda go out sometime next week. And it will include then the approval in terms of cab items. It will include consideration to approve moving Gloria Bell up from alternate member seat to voting member seat, as well as approving Brianna to join the CAP. That's it.
Thank you. I think you also said you had do you mind sharing the update that you had in reference to, the RFPs? And then you said the next step for the funding?
Yeah, so as I stated, the deadline for the AB 109 RFP or RFP for our AB 109 community-based reentry services will close tomorrow. We have scheduled some review panels, which some of you will be a part of. Thank you. We've reached out to a few different CAB members based on their attendance to our one-on-one training around, the procurement process and what to anticipate in proposal review, and then also your respective skill set and experience that we've taken into consideration from your original application to join CAB. So not all of you were selected, but some of you will be joining those, and there'll be a great opportunity for you. And that's going to be taking place during the week of the 24th. After we close out this RFP process, we will very quickly turn around and release the RFPs for our one-time AB 109 funded pilots that came as a result of you all's planning around that. Particularly, we will be releasing an RFP for our local innovation funds, the gender responsive services, and also transportation and peer support services. We've included in the policy and budget subcommittee agenda packet, if you haven't seen it already, it was just posted. Was that Friday, Garyana? We just posted that, and it includes in a table format a suggested scope of work for each of those RFPs. So if you're able to, obviously the members of that body will be in attendance and will be providing us with feedback, but for any others of you who have the time, you can certainly always join and share any comments, or even share comments directly to us over email. So we're looking to get some feedback from CAB members on the scopes of work, how we're potentially structuring the program design, and also structuring the RFP itself. So that way we have a really sound solicitations go out fairly soon. When that happens, we'll also reach out again to CAB members to see if any of you would be interested in serving on the review panels for those as well. So we are trying to ensure that we're creating space for you all to have input on the creation of the solicitations, as well as reviewing and scoring on the proposals we've received. So look out for that. That's all happening, likely to be released sometime in April, likely early April. We're working on it now. And then review panels would likely happen sometime in late May. And that's it.
That's great. Thank you. So let's go ahead and move along. Our first one that we have is Policy and Budget Subcommittee. Tracy?
Sure. Just giving an update on what happened.
Yeah, Justin isn't available, so read the report out, yes.
Okay. So the Policy and Budget Committee, we met February 10th. And the meeting just was here. Okay.
Just, there or anything that you would like to report on from the last meeting?
I don't really remember. Okay, so we met and we did discuss like what we were doing in the past. And we talked about maybe reviewing the original goals of the CAB and making sure like we were still in alignment with what the original goals were, or if we kind of deviated some, bringing that back to the group and trying to come up with a plan to move forward, just to make sure that we're very clear on what our intentions are moving forward, I guess. some of our homework included going back and reading those very long documents to make sure that we're still.
7 pages.
There we go.
Good job. Very good job.
Um,
Really, we spent most of our time discussing what we wanted to bring forward because we were also new. So we need to see what the past did
Mhm.
so that we could, if we're inclined to find, need to make changes, we would. So that's, we spent most of our time going over that. So.
Yeah.
We got those documents and, we started looking at them and, we will meet, what, Monday? Yeah.
I'm really excited with the feedback that Justin gave and the work that you all are doing and like your goals and your work plan on what you're moving forward. So
Yes,
really excited to hear the information that you're bringing back to the full board and the committee. So great job.
we think so.
Yeah, you're doing great.
yeah, I'm excited about this work.
It's new for us. and we're
I
like,
love to
okay.
see smiles
Yeah.
when it comes to policy and budget, because I was scared of my first year, so yes. No, I love it. All right, thank you, ladies, I appreciate it. Our next one is OCEC. Laura, would you like to go ahead and get it up?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
A lot of what's in here has already been covered as far as the new assignments. We also talked about standardizing the outreach material, increasing the CAP visibility, and that was part of the reasoning for the calendar so that we can start to table a little bit more, do a little bit more outreach, make ourselves more visible in the community. Also with the full intention of recruiting and having folks attend these meetings. Another thing I did want to bring up were standardizing of the interview processes. We realized that during the interview process for Brianna and myself, which is the only experience I have, there's no real standard interview questions. It was, look over the application for 5 minutes and then ask, what you think is pertinent right then and there. But then I don't know about you, but I know that 5 minutes after the meeting's over, I'm like, I should have asked that.
Yes.
Just setting us a quick standard list of maybe 10 interview questions that we could choose from. Don't have to ask them all, but at least have them there. And if they apply, ask. If not, then don't. So we're going to be working on that. I believe we're turning those in and we'll be reviewing during our next meeting. Same thing with the onboarding plan. This is a lot of work, right? So coming in and not knowing, it's kind of hard because you gotta take the required trainings and then kind of just catch up during the meetings and ask as you go. So we're thinking of doing maybe a small onboarding process where, hey, this is what we've done so far. This is where we're at right now. And now that you're coming in, this is what you're going to be doing moving forward. So that a person isn't so lost, because this is a lot.
Right.
I know. And I know that every single one of you guys have been in this seat, so I'm sure you appreciate what we're looking at doing, which is standardizing that process as well. And we're talking about, it would be a meeting with OCEC or the chair that would do the onboarding. So it wouldn't take a full cap.
Right.
Like that. Everything else we pretty much covered.
Okay.
And I took a lot of notes, so y'all have some.
Thank you. Next is programs and services. Tiffany?
So we met on February 20th. And the meeting highlights, we did discuss the upcoming summit. At that time was scheduled for April 16th. However, as earlier mentioned, this has been rescheduled for May 14th. And we also discussed the program and service grid where at the subcommittee, we did request to add the county entities to the document and that outside of AB 109 that often our reentry population community members also leverage. And just have a conversation now. Although we focus on AB 109 and reentry, reentry is in every population because all walks of life have been just as impacted. So just thinking of outside of the partners and providers we regularly see or deal with on this capacity and what entities or other resources could also be beneficial or available on one directory for individuals that we could share at the summit or prior to in March, as Nicole mentioned. We also reviewed the program and service work plan, and we will continue to discuss at the next meeting. We kind of prioritized this past meeting because in we just wanted to realign what had came up during the retreat, and kind of align some next steps as far as the surveys in custody, and as well as the follow-up questions for Jody and the site visit questions, you know, like how intentional do we want to do going into the site visits, and if we are gonna do the surveys, like how strategic and what questions we would like to capture. We also discussed potentially leveraging some of the annual AB 109 reports or some semi-annual AB 109 reports, and just the shared challenges amongst various providers that we could potentially ask during our visits. Kind of cover that, as well as really just focusing on how our providers are collaborating, who's actually doing what, and who's referring to who, to prevent support or prevent any silos amongst the providers. So that would probably be the goals of what we discussed during the subcommittee. And the homework for our committee was to review the survey results from in custody last year, in addition to drafting or thinking of questions that we would want to ask Jody, site visits and in custody surveys.
Nope, all good to go. All right. Good.
And we are scheduled to meet on March 20th.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and move right along. And we don't have any outside of what we did earlier. Hopefully going forward, I believe we added that. If not, I know that at OCEC, we were supposed to talk about the outside meetings. I don't think that we did, like Council of Homeless, at one point it was AOD, of course, but that went away. I know that Raina Moore goes to the Council of Homeless, so, and I attend that, so I'll make sure to get that report out. But eventually, we need to look back at who's going to any outside meetings to be able to bring those report backs for any information that we think is important to this body. So we do have to revisit that, so I'll make that as a to-do item for myself. The next agenda item that I have on here is, that's it.
Is there a current list of meetings that you would like to see CAB members attend? Or is that?
I believe that's what we were supposed to discuss.
Okay.
And I know that we didn't. So that was the question, as I think we need to identify which ones did we attend, and then as a board, which ones do we think that are important that we want to attend? So what I can at least do is look at, and you guys can do it too, not just me, but look at the calendar of all the meetings that they have within the county and see which ones that you may think that are important that you may want to join. I'm already have some on top of my head, and we can bring that list back to our next full board and have that as a discussion. So can we make that as an action item for the next full board meeting? Okay. And if you don't know what that link is, definitely reach out when we send it to you. I always recommend people to go, even not just for this board, but definitely look at that calendar. There are so many meetings that happen in the county that you may be interested in. You do not have to be in person. They're on Zoom. I've learned a lot the last year joining so many meetings. I definitely recommend joining if you have the time to even just listen in and have a question. So that's your homework.
2 things on that. So there's 2 places on the calendar agenda. The one calendar that Nicole is talking about is just one list. It's a rotating list, and so it has all the current agendas and the meetings that staff have put on there. But there's another section where you can sign up for agendas to be sent to you, and it shows all the advisory bodies and committees in the county, a long list of them. So you could go through, and I get every agenda in the county. And I've never, but it allows you to see if there is something coming up. And I think that's what happens is things we think is out there, like with the Family and Human Services on Monday, you know, we think it's out there and people know. And then after the fact, they're like, we had no idea it was going to be on there. But if you got the agenda and looked at it, you would know. So. Yes.
And I definitely agree. I get a lot of them sent to me, and I just have to go to a folder and try to look at it or see if there's anything that I need to listen or seems, anything tied into the boards I'm in or the work that I'm doing, or maybe I just want to learn about something that's happening in my district or within my county. It's very informal. So, again, if you are not familiar with that link, let us know and we'll get it sent back out. But I urge you all to go take a look at that, in reference to this body and just for yourself. So I will be at our next full CAB meeting going around and kind of figure out where your ideas are about outside meetings. Yes.
So since it seems like OCEC will be compiling the information of who's doing what, can we ask that members, or is this something Ariana would put out and just say, can you identify which ones you're already going to, so we can.
Yes.
List-
Do that.
Yes, to which part?
I already know your brain. I finished all of it. Yes, well, let me just ask everybody. Yes, if we can, please reach out to Garyana and let her know which bodies we're already in. I don't want to speak for myself, but I think I'm the only one that's probably right now participating in another body.
I am now.
Well, yes, outside of Tracy.
I'm new
so-
to the county, okay?
You're doing good. I'm seeing you in all kinds of things. You're doing good. So, I'll get mine out to you, Gloriana, in reference to what I'm already participating in.
There's some folks that aren't here, so I don't know if they.
Oh.
might be-
My love list, it got real short. I am.
Appreciate that.
Or even and the list can include spaces that we want to be in. Some people
Correct.
are not in spaces yet, but we want to identify.
So by you saying that, are you trying to get it before your next OCEC
Yes,
meeting?
please, that was my intention, if I didn't make that clear, that's so that we could talk about it during our,
I was giving it more time to the next full board meeting.
why?
OCEC would like it, when's your next meeting?
Your next meeting on the 25th, so this list I would need by the 7th.
So Glorbell gave y'all to the
4 days.
17th, yeah, so Glorbell gave. Do you want to ask your regular meeting?
No, I understand it.
I know her
4 days
brains, I have to let her work it out
Yeah.
first. So can I go back now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so by our next full body meeting, and you'll need that by what date?
Our next full body meeting is the 10th, so I'm going to post it by the 4th, so I would need it by like the 2nd or the 3rd.
That sounds right.
Yes. Yeah. So please, by the 2nd or 3rd, if you could please get your list of current bodies that you're in or those that you may be interested in, so that we can talk about it at the full board meeting. And then that way we can give that list to OCEC for then their meeting that next following month.
No,
All right, so we, anything else before we adjourn our meeting? Seeing none. All right, so our next meeting is currently scheduled for Thursday, April the 4th at 10 a.m. So we will now adjourn our meeting at 11:17.
That seems efficient.